Second episode of Boop and Rework, and this time we're going to be talking about probably one of the favorite pilgrims of almost everyone in terms of design. That's going to be our girl Isabel. Now before we start, hello the internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Seppi, and this series is to talk about characters that could use a rework or a buff, maybe both things even, as we have right now 97 or 98 units in the game, and around half of them are not really used. Now, I'm not saying all of them should be meta. I don't believe every single unit should be like top meta, but should be at least usable. And we have a lot of units that are not even usable. For example, blue ones, no one uses them unless you are trolling or because waifu. And purple ones, SRs, is the same right now. Only N102 and maybe NIKKE are the only ones that you could consider using, and therefore VP will have Anis, of course. And for SSRs, the situation is pretty similar because outside of the meta and the situational characters, there's a lot that are neither. So not situational, not on the meta, and they are just a little bit of useless, let's say, right? And so today we're going to be talking about one of those cases. That's Isabel. Now before we start, we are live every single day. Come say hello, have fun. We're helping people doing carries on a special interception and making all this type of content. Now let's get started directly with the video. And something I want to mention too in this case specifically is Isabel is a pilgrim. Pilgrims are supposed to be the strongest and most rare units in the game, right? We have Scarlet, we have Dorothy, we have Snow White, Modernia, Rapunzel. All of them are meta. We have Harran, Noah, and Nihilister, which we could say they are not bad. In fact, Noah and Harran are pretty good. Nihilister, we might make a video on her. I don't think she's as bad as people point her to be. But then we have Isabel, and she's the only one in this list that really no one uses unless she really is your favorite girl. The main reason for this is there is not enough time on our current game modes to justify bringing her. So let's talk about her skill set and why she could benefit from a rework. I think she doesn't need a rework. I think a buff would be enough for her. So Isabel, it's an electric DPS shotgun pilgrim attacker, of course. When we talk about attackers, we can talk about pilgrim attacker helmets because we have none yet. 312 days and counting. We'll see today if on stream we can get finally our helmet. Now, let's talk about her kit. Skill number 1 is Market Target. Activates when using burst skill, affects self. Effect changes according to the number of activation times. Previous effect triggers repeatedly, so just like Litter, like Dola. Once, it's going to be critical rate increase. Twice, it's going to be critical damage increase. And 3 times, it's going to be attack increase. You might be thinking, this is pretty good. This is a really good skill. And it actually is, but you'll see when we focus on seeing how her kit works, it's actually not good. Now, skill number 2, it's Pointed Feeder, affects 5 enemies units with the highest defense, dealing 100% of final attack as damage on a 15-second cooldown. And then lastly, we have Sonic Chaser, which affects all enemies, deals 93% of final attack as damage. And then she has, once again, the repeat effects, depending how many times you burst. So first, it's going to be damage taken to the enemies. Second is dealing extra damage, and then the third time is dealing even more extra damage. She also makes your full burst time reduced by 5 seconds. And this is where the problem starts to happen. Now, Isabel needs teams that will reduce the burst full time. So you need to reduce the amount of time it takes between rotations and have enough units that can reduce the cooldown also to be able to burst. Because if not, you will have downtimes of probably 5 to 10 seconds in between bursts, which is super bad. So right now we don't have enough cooldown reduction units to make her full use of this skill, right? When we are reducing by 5 seconds the full burst time. Not only that, but she needs to be bursting 3 times. So we have to be doing super long fights in order for her to properly shine. This means Isabel is already not usable on campaign because you will never be using a campaign for 3 minutes. This means you cannot use her on a special interception really, even though for Gravedigger teams we could justify her. And also for pushing hard campaign, she doesn't bring enough damage overall when compared to any other pilgrim. So this leaves us with a unit that we could be using for solo raid and union raid if you can build a team around her, and also if the boss fights are long enough for her to build up that damage. Now here's the thing, in all the time that it takes for her to build her damage, to build all of those bursts, you can use any other unit and you are doing more damage, right? So you can be using Drake and she's going to be doing more damage over the time that it takes for Isabel to reach full potential. You can be using Sugar, not North because it's a support, but you get what I'm saying, right? You can use any other shotgun and it will never take as long to reach that potential. So shotguns, for example, Annie's Sparkling Summer, 1000 times better, and it's also electric. Even Maiden is better, and we could not really consider Maiden a great unit. Drake, Guilty, Viper, and Sugar. Viper is a 50-50, but there are just a lot of better options. So the problem comes down to two things. She's useless right now for current meta and current game modes. We need to build a team around her to be able to fully reach her potential, and then there are just better pilgrims. So a buff could be good enough for her, either increasing the numbers so we can justify building up all of this damage, right? So she's doing more over time, or not needing to burst with her all the time. So instead of activate when using the burst skill, this could be easily fixed if it was like, for example, one of the other units, which is every time you enter full burst, right? Every time you enter full burst, you get one of these things, and then it keeps going out and adding up. And that could easily fix Isabel and make her a lot stronger than she is right now. Again, her numbers are lower, but that's an easy fix to do that doesn't require to fully rework her or how she works. Now, to put an example, let's actually run a special interception with her so you can see that she's not ramping up any damage. We're gonna be comparing her, of course, with other shotguns, so it's a little bit more fair. Now, to demonstrate what we're gonna be doing, I'm gonna be running 2 units with no gear, like no good gear. As you can see, this is like bad gear. I don't even want to change this. I'm gonna remove this chest. So we have 3 shotguns in here, bunny girls and litter. Like I was saying, you need a lot of cooldown reduction for Isabel to properly work. And of course, we're using our girl, which is litter, with a really good cooldown reduction, among other things. This is not gonna be enough. We're running bunnies because bunnies are good, bunnies are life. But you should be running litter and Dola, or litter and Helm Aquamarine, or any other unit that's giving you cooldown reduction. Now, the reason for this, you'll see in a second. So we're gonna start the fight. It's simple, right? We're gonna cover like always. Also, something I wanna mention, look at Isabel's design. Bro, I'm so mad she's not good. I'm so mad she's not good. She's one of the best looking units. So we'll wait a second. We'll start our burst so we can actually shoot everything. So first of all, as you can see, she fucks up your full burst. So you have less time to actually be bursting. And as you can see, we have 9 seconds of downtime in between the burst, so you need at least 2 units fully maxed out when it comes to their cooldown reduction skills to properly take advantage of this. Now we're gonna wait a second so we can burst again. 1, 2. We're gonna go with Nip. Remind you that Nip is an SSR unit. Let me see if I can actually keep her alive. Okay, we can keep her alive. So right now, as you can see, Nip and Nor are doing a lot more than Isabel. The amount of time she needs to ramp up all of the damage is just too long. That's her main problem. If we change her skill to activate when entering full burst, it fixes almost everything. Because we only need 3 rotations in order to fully utilize her. Now, I fucked up this. Oh, actually no. Yeah, I did fucked up. That was lucky. Nip is better for this boss, by the way, because the penetration she has and all of the parts are close together. That's why she is actually better. Let's cover. He went for Isabel, I think. Okay, let's wait a second. Let's throw everything in here. Once again, the worst part about Isabel is she is fucking up all of your rotations. I'm gonna be using Nip for the shooting because it's actually better. There we go back. So once again, we can see we are doing 11 million, 9 million, and then 6 million. Like a litter, well, okay, no. I'm not gonna compare to litter because my litter is fully invested. It's not a fair comparison to a 1-1-1 unit without even overload gear, right? Perfect. As you can see, when you are using any other unit, because you are not reducing your burst, you can properly aim, help with the mechanics, in this case with all of the circle, and do everything. But if you are using Isabel, and right now she hasn't even burst like the 3 times she needs, she's doing not enough damage. Like, her numbers are too low. So once again, our Nip is gear, all of the gear is level 1, skills level 1, and she's an SR unit. And we have Isabel doing less damage as a pilgrim than Nip. So let's kill him. It takes forever to kill him. Of course, this is like not a good team, but hey, it is what it is. Let's check the final damage on this fight. So Isabel 11 million, Nip 18 million, Nor 17 million. So once again, if we come here, as you can see, Isabel, all of the gear, normal gear, 1-1-1. If we come here, 1-1 wow, all of the gear, non-manufacturer, non-overload. We also have to take into consideration that Nip is doing elemental damage to the boss, but still she's an SR unit. She scales a lot worse than any SSR. And still, she's doing more damage than a pilgrim that's supposed to be super rare to get, and they should be lore and game-wise super strong, but it's not the case for Isabel. It's a pity, because it's one of my favorite looking characters. If you just look at her, I think with Harran are my favorite design, both Isabel and Harran. That's it. Do let me know if you agree with she needs a rework or a buff, and what would you do for her to actually get a better kit. Also, let me know in the comments what character you want to see next in the series. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you to all my patrons for making this content possible. Good luck with your pull the dates, and see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。